All right. Hey, everyone.
Hey.
Dr. Sully here.
Dr. Perry.
And we're two of your hosts from the Millennial Dentist podcast and excited to kind of share some insight from our big weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Had a blast this past weekend. Thomas Hinman Dental Symposium in Atlanta.
Yeah, it was great. We got down there, I guess, Wednesday night. And then you got down there Thursday
night, yeah.
And it's been a good couple times. So one thing we want to talk about, we do a lot of podcasts with younger millennial listeners and try to touch on big things that millennials are doing differently in dentistry or how we're learning and how our stuff. But one area we've really noticed is for our careers early on is the importance of going to these big dental meetings. Touch on that, Payman, a little bit as far as what it's meant to you to kind of actually – because a lot of our friends and millennial colleagues are all about digital learning.
Sure.
But at the same time, there's a huge importance on going to these big meetings.
So one of the things I always notice, the more I go to these courses, I see less young dentists. I see more and more older folks and dentists that have been practicing for a long time, especially this one that I noticed why there are less young people. And what I noticed, there are so much advantages to those online education, online learning, but also there are disadvantages. So some of the things we'd like to talk about today is to some of the great things we learned just going to these things, and why me and Sully both are just CE junkies. We love to go to these things because there's so much advantages. We met so many people, influential people. We learned so much from them. You can't really.
And I think for me, a lot of it came down to I was fortunate with my dad being a dentist to kind of really explain to me that there's so much value in going to these meetings, because not only are you getting education, but it kind of gets you fired up when you're surrounded by other individuals who are excited about dentistry and the new stuff and the technology. And so it's easy to kind of get in your groove, if you will. But if you're not being pushed by other people, and it's easy to kind of sit back and be content if you're just doing digital learning and not getting to see stuff.
You really don't interact. The main thing is with these courses, the interaction is what the main thing I love. The interaction, collaboration, talking to, I don't really do much veneers, but I just talking to Steve, a friend of mine that took a veneer course, for example, and then ask him, what did you learn? In a couple of hours, maybe the course was 2 hours, but in 5-10 minutes, he just went over so much with me that it just got me motivated. I want to take that course.
Sure.
So he showed me articulator. He showed me how he was doing the prep reduction guide and everything, and just the interaction is what you're never gonna get with the online learning. And I do one of those. I do implant comparators, online digital social apps and things that we do live surgery broadcast. But being in there in the convention is something that's really truly priceless, and that's amazing.
No, I think that's a great point. Another thing that one of my favorite parts, especially about Hinman, that I tell people if I come back and what's your favorite part about going to Hinman? It really, one of the big factors is the trade show. I remember the first time, so this is my third year to go to Hinman. I remember the first time I came down those escalators into that trade show, and I was just like, oh my gosh, look at all these vendors and people and companies.
You get lost.
You do, and you literally need a day just to walk through there and see what's out there. And so you don't get that on Dental Town or on education, and I love all these other resources, but there's nothing like walking from booth to booth and kind of seeing the different social media stuff, the website people, the insurance. The
magazines, the Dentistry Today we talked about, and the chairs.
And how cool it was seeing Dr. Blair and learning all the stuff about dental coding. Something that that's not something that we get in a digital learning environment.
Absolutely. There's so much we learned these 2-3 days just like I said, the whole concept, especially sitting down with them, talking to them, podcasting, interviewing some of these big influential people, it was truly it's an experience.
What was one of your favorite parts?
I loved the Dr.
Spot.
Yeah, the Forest president, Hank Barton. That was
a really cool to meet him.
Yeah, him, and also Dr. Blair. That was, the other, but also just going around meeting these folks, some of these companies that have been, especially startups, social signs
and I think that's one of the things I love about it is, as millennials too, we're all fired up about trying to implement new things in dentistry and kind of see what's out there. And getting to talk to the chat companies or the phone companies or some of these just random new ideas that are great to help grow our practices, especially when you're young and trying to figure it out. That's a big part. Okay, so let's talk about this, Payman. What do you think it is that's keeping people back? You think it's money? Is that the...
I think it's really money and also the resources online. So touch of a fingertip, you can get online and see so many articles,
Sure.
so many things that you're gonna get to see, and it's cool. There's nothing wrong about it. I mean, I get so many magazines every day,
Right.
and you get CEs from it. It's really, to me, I don't look at these convention for a CE per se. I mean, even though you get a lot of CE, like I said, the experience of interacting, connecting, and networking with these dentists and a lot of people, folks, is
especially like the big
priceless,
ones,
it's valuable. And like right now, I can go to most of these big cities. I know 4 dentists at least, and I can be like, hey, because all these courses like Orlando, Chicago, LA, like I know these dentists, and it's cool to go into that town. And I'll be like, hey, you going to this? It's like, no, I'm not, but you can come hang out with me.
No.
And it's like I said, the interaction to me is a part that I'm just like, there's no way you can find that in anywhere else.
Well, and what I found too is that when I go to a normal CE course or do even online learning, or whatever, it's great. It gets me excited. But one of the things that I love about Hinman or what's going to be Dentist by Surrounding World now or Chicago Midwinter or these big, or even the ADA, these big meetings is I think one of the most undervalued things is probably taking your staff to them.
Oh yeah.
We took our whole team this year, so there were 9 of us down there, and this is the second year we've done that. And I cannot tell you the impact it has on our practice. Not only does it get them excited because it's good team bonding and we get to like interact and hang out together, but the big part is they kind of really get to take ownership in, one, what they're learning, and 2, what we're going to bring back to the practice.
It motivates them. I mean, there's so much, like, as much as I said about networking with these dentists, they're just doing the same thing with other assistants, other hygienists, other front desk, and seeing the different perspective from their angle, like from their doctors. And it's truly like, that's something that I was like so impressed, but you bringing the whole stuff, because that's a lot of money.
Well, yeah, but see, to me, okay, say it cost us a couple $1,000 to bring the staff. That's an expense.
Sure.
But you know what's great? These 1 or 2 things that we're gonna invest in and want to implement when we come back, they're kind of have their stamp on it, and they're all gonna be fired up about it. So that, because what's happened to me before, and I don't know about you, is I go to some CE or whatever, and I come back and I'm super excited, and then they're like, oh great, here comes Dr. Sully, all pumped up, and you know what I mean? Like, I think it happens.
It's always like
but now we come back, and I guarantee you tomorrow, Monday morning, that they're going to be all fired up. They're going to be selling dentistry. They're going to be doing the things that and helping me implement these new ideas, new techniques, these new waves to increase and provide our patients better care, and that's priceless. I mean, that will make back that money. I mean, so fast.
Right, absolutely. Like just you said, the $2,000 investment that you're gonna get maybe next week, you're gonna just make it because of their interaction, just selling. Not really sell. I don't like to use sell, but just doing their work in a way that they're looking at it to how to benefit the patients in a way. Because that's ultimately, a lot of these folks, a lot of the things that we see is all about making this whole dentistry so much more 2017 easier for us and for the patient, painless.
And I think it's great for them to get their hands on, they may have used these scalers for forever, but I think it's great for them to go in there and try new stuff. And so they walk around and there's 30 vendors that just sell ultrasonic tips or scalers or different or different temporary materials. Them getting to play with them and see maybe there's something they like more, or
and they go to a course and there's a hygienist there and they're like, oh, I use this, because that's what I do. Like when I go to a course, they're like, the other guys are practicing for 15-20 years, and I'm like, what do you use to, like, for example, make a flap? And they're like, oh, I use 12C for this and that. And I'm like, oh, I never use it. But
I know, exactly.
And I start using
the same one.
I implement it in my practice. So just as much as that is helping me, it's going to help them. And also, it's for, I mean, they need to have fun.
No, exactly.
Tell me a little bit about, did you take them out?
Yeah, so
a lot of
we had probably too much fun. Yeah, so I guess we got down there Wednesday night, and we went to a little place, got some dinner, some tacos, whatever. Thursday night was a blast. We went to one of the Japanese steakhouses where they do all that. So that was fun. And then Friday night we went to this nice steakhouse, and I can't tell you how much fun it was sitting around, dinner, everybody kind of telling about their day, seeing what they went and saw and liked, and I mean, you just can't. Taking them to your local dental meeting or trying to get them to watch some online stuff, it's not going to do. You're not going to build that.
Even a lunch and learn doesn't do it.
No, I mean that's what I really would encourage young dentists, especially, that invest in these meetings, invest in going to this stuff, because not only are you going to learn more, but it's going to really bring your staff together.
Absolutely, it's like
so next year. You're bringing your staff.
You have to. Yeah, I will. I will. If I can keep them in here. Now, right now, I'm actually having my grand opening next month, so it's still like my office.
Yep,
going
on your
back
startup,
and forth,
right.
Definitely. That's one of my things. I always love to take my staff to these things. I mean, even for Nashville dental meetings or some of that meetings that are close, but Hinman or Midwest Chicago, there's so many of them. However, you don't have to take them all to each one. You can get. I think honestly, this is the cool thing. I feel every dental office should have at least once a year, one of these big meetings. Take them outside of that town, whatever there is. That's the rule, or something that you could promise as a dentist to your employees. That's one of the benefits. We take you once a year.
They look forward to that.
Yeah. I mean, especially, so now we've been to Atlanta. Next year, maybe they go to Chicago or somewhere like Orlando or like, I don't know, Louisiana, New Orleans or something.
Yeah.
And to me, that whole bonding make the office so much stronger over the years. And that's why one of the things your dad said last week, that how your staff and your team members are so loyal because of those meetings, because of those night out steakhouses. It's not just a dental office, because it gets boring very quickly.
No, I know, right?
If you don't. So it's awesome. I learned so much. Just even seeing your staff bringing you and a lot of other dentists bringing their team, and it's motivational.
Well, shoot. Well, we're excited. We Pam and I had the chance to interview about 10 or 11 different companies and speakers and whatnot this past weekend at Hinman. So we're excited. Over the next month or so, we're going to release 1 or 2 episodes of kind of compilation from Hinman that kind of share the stories and experiences we had with some of those different new companies that are coming out there, to hear kind of what's out there. So for those of you that didn't get to attend Hinman, maybe you can kind of see why we love it, and
or even a lot of folks that did actually go to Hinman. I want to tell them, because like a lot of my friends were there. They're like, oh, I didn't get to talk to like some of these companies. I'm like, if you listen to our episode, we talked to them like 20 minutes.
Yeah, a couple teasers. We talked to Laura Hatch with Front Office Rocks, Practice by Numbers, the president of Forest Dental,
Dr. Charles Blair, coding, and that was a great episode. There's a ton of good contents, and it's only like 10-15 minutes an episode. So look forward to that. Subscribe to our millennialdentist.com podcast. Millennial Dentist on Facebook, on Instagram.
Check us out.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep.